A boy was born on a Tuesday. The world was new to him. His name was Leo. He had tiny fingers and tiny toes. He could not talk yet. He could only cry and sleep. His mom held him close. His dad smiled at him. They thought he was the most wonderful baby in the world. They brought him home to a small house with a yellow door. His room was painted blue like the sky. A crib waited for him with a soft blanket. He was safe and warm in his new home. Leo learned to do many things. First, he learned to smile. His smile made his parents very happy. Then he learned to roll over. It was hard work. He tried and tried until he did it. He started to eat new foods. He liked mashed bananas but not green peas. He would spit the peas out. His parents would laugh. He learned to sit up all by himself. He could see the world from a new angle. Everything looked so big and interesting from his high chair in the kitchen. Then came crawling. Leo was like a little explorer. He crawled all over the house. He went under the table and behind the sofa. He discovered dust bunnies and lost toys. He put everything in his mouth. His mom was always saying, "No, Leo." He learned to pull himself up on furniture. He would stand and wobble, then fall down with a soft thump on his diaper. He was getting stronger every day. He was getting ready for his next big adventure. One day, Leo took his first step. His mom was in the kitchen. His dad was in the living room. Leo was in between. He let go of the coffee table. He took one step, then another. His parents cheered for him. He was so proud of himself. He was a walker now. Soon he was running everywhere. The house with the yellow door was full of the sound of his little feet. He was not a tiny baby anymore. He was a toddler, ready to explore the big world outside. Leo went to school when he was 5. He had a brand new backpack. It was red with a picture of a rocket ship on it. He was a little scared on the first day. He held his mom's hand very tight, but his teacher was nice. Her name was Miss Apple. She had a kind smile. He met other kids in his class. They played with blocks and painted pictures. He learned his ABCs and how to count to 10. School was fun after all. He looked forward to it every day. Childhood was a time for play. Leo loved to be outside. He would climb the big oak tree in his backyard. He pretended he was a pirate in a tall ship. He would build forts out of blankets and chairs. His best friend was a boy named Sam. Sam lived next door. They would ride their bikes down the street. They would race to the corner and back. They collected baseball cards and told silly jokes. They spent long summer afternoons just being boys, full of energy and imagination. Leo learned about the world. He learned that sharing toys was important. He learned that saying sorry was hard but good. He learned how to tie his own shoes. It took a long time to learn. The laces were like tangled spaghetti, but he kept practicing until he got it right. He learned to read books by himself. The words opened up new worlds. He read about dragons and castles and far-off lands. He loved the library. It was a quiet place full of adventures waiting to be discovered. As he grew, he had bigger dreams. He wanted to be an astronaut and fly to the moon. He would look at the stars at night from his window. He wondered what it was like up there. He also wanted to be a firefighter and drive a big red truck. Sometimes he wanted to be a detective like in the books he read. His dreams changed often, but they were always big and exciting. Life was full of possibilities. He was just a boy, but he knew he could be anything he wanted to be. The teenage years arrived. Leo was taller now. His voice was different. School was harder. He had to study algebra and history. He did not always like homework. He would rather be with his friends. They would go to the movies on weekends. They would listen to loud music in Sam's garage. They talked about cars and school and what they would do when they grew up. Being a teenager was confusing. Sometimes he felt like a kid, and sometimes he felt like an adult. It was a strange time. Leo got his first job. He worked at the local grocery store. He stocked shelves and packed bags for customers. It was not a very exciting job, but he earned his own money. He saved up to buy a used car. It was an old blue car, but it was his. He was so proud of it. Having a car meant freedom. He could drive himself and his friends around. He learned about responsibility. He had to be at work on time. He had to pay for his own gas. It was a big step toward being a grown-up. High school was a busy place. There were dances and football games. Leo went to the prom. He wore a suit that felt a little too tight. He was nervous to ask a girl to dance, but he did it. It wasn't so bad. He learned to drive and he passed his test. He felt so powerful behind the wheel. He started thinking about the future. What would he do after graduation? Should he go to college? What did he want to be? The questions were big and a little scary. Graduation day came. Leo wore a cap and gown. He walked across the stage and got his diploma. His parents were in the crowd taking pictures. They looked so proud. He felt proud too. He had finished one part of his life. Now a new part was beginning. He said goodbye to some of his high school friends. They were all going in different directions. He was excited and a little sad at the same time. The world was waiting for him. He just had to decide which path to take. Leo became a man. He went to college and studied to be an architect. He liked designing buildings. He met a wonderful woman named Clara. They fell in love. They got married on a sunny day in June. They bought a small house, much like the one he grew up in. It had a big backyard for a garden. He got a job at a firm. He worked hard. Life was busy with work and paying bills. It was different from being a boy, but it was a good kind of different. Soon, Leo and Clara had children of their own. A boy and then a girl. The house was filled with the sound of little feet, just like his house was long ago. He was a father now. He taught his son how to ride a bike. He read bedtime stories to his daughter. He watched them play in the backyard. He saw himself in them. He remembered climbing trees and building forts. Being a parent was the hardest and best job he ever had. He loved his family more than anything. The years went by quickly. His hair started to turn grey. His children grew up and went to school, then college. They started their own lives. The house became quiet again. Leo became a grandfather. He held his grandchildren in his arms just as his father had held him. He told them stories about when he was a boy. He showed them how to build things with blocks. He gave them rides on his back. He had more time now. He and Clara would take long walks and travel to new places. Now Leo is an old man. He sits on his porch and watches the world go by. He thinks about his life. He remembers being a baby in a blue room. He remembers his red backpack and his old blue car. He remembers his wedding day and the day his children were born. His life was not a big adventure to the moon. It was a simple life, but it was a good life. It was full of love and laughter, hard work and happy memories. He has a lot of wisdom to share. His journey was long and he is thankful for every step.